Look at your receipt. No, really look at it. You just walked out of a warehouse the size of a small airport with a 4-pound jar of Kalamata olives, a 36-pack of toilet paper, and a literal pallet of Himalayan sea salt you'll never actually finish. You're $400 lighter, and yet, as you sit on that plastic bench near the exit, you feel like you just won. You're smiling. You're content. And why? Because of a tube of processed meat and a sugar water chaser that cost you $1.50. You think you're winning a deal. They know you're renewing a vow. That $1.50 wasn't a price. It was an anchor. It was the psychological glue that holds a $380 billion empire together. While the rest of the retail world is burning in the fires of efficiency, Costco is building a fortress. And the hot dog? That's the moat. The year was somewhere in the early 2000s. The air in the boardroom was probably stale, smelling of coffee and high-stakes spreadsheets. Craig Jelinek, the man who would eventually take the throne as CEO, walked up to the founder, Jim Sinegal. Jelinek had the math. He had the cold, hard logic of a man watching margins bleed. "Jim," he said, "we're losing our shirts on these hot dogs. We have to raise the price." Sinegal didn't look at a spreadsheet. He didn't call for a committee. He looked Jelinek in the eye and uttered the most famous ultimatum in corporate history. "If you raise the price of the hot dog, I will end you. Figure it out." It sounds like hyperbole. It sounds like a grandfather protecting a tradition. But it was a declaration of war against the efficiency narcotic. Sinegal knew what every other CEO in America has forgotten. Once you start optimizing the soul of your brand, you're already dead. You just haven't stopped breathing yet. Let's talk about the math of losing. Costco sells roughly 100 million hot dog combos every year. Since 1985, that price has stayed frozen at $1.50. If they had tracked inflation, that dog should cost you closer to $5 today. By keeping it at $1.50, Costco is burning millions of dollars in potential revenue every single quarter. On paper, it is a disaster. To a McKinsey consultant, it is a crime. To Costco, it is the highest yielding marketing spend in the history of capitalism. This is the loss leader illusion. Your brain is a lazy machine. It seeks shortcuts. When you walk into a store and see a hot dog for the price of a gumball, your subconscious signs a contract. It tells you, if they are this honest about the hot dog, they must be honest about the $800 mattress in aisle 4. It creates a halo effect that covers every single pallet in the building. You stop price checking. You stop comparing. You surrender. You believe that Costco is your advocate in a world of predators. They aren't selling you groceries. They are selling you a feeling of safety. And safety is the most expensive product on earth. Step back and look at the model. You think Costco is a retail store. It's not. It's a subscription club that happens to have a warehouse attached. Look at the numbers. More than 70% of Costco's operating profit doesn't come from the markup on rotisserie chickens or flat-screen TVs. It comes from membership fees. They don't make money when you buy things. They make money when you decide to keep belonging. This is the membership moat. Most retailers are in a desperate one-night stand relationship with their customers. They have to seduce you every single day with coupons, flashy ads, and psychological tricks. Costco is married to you. They have your annual fee up front. Everything after that is just service. This changes the entire incentive structure of the company. A normal store wants to trick you into buying something you don't need at a price that's too high. Costco wants you to leave feeling so satisfied that you'd never dream of canceling your membership. The $1.50 hot dog is the physical manifestation of that marriage certificate. It is the proof that the deal is still good. It is the "I love you" whispered at the end of a long day. While the rest of the world fell for the efficiency narcotic, Costco stayed sober. Look at the ghost brands of 2026. Look at the retailers who spent the last decade mining their brand equity. They cut the staff. They cheapened the ingredients. They added service fees. They optimized themselves into irrelevance. They fell into the complexity trap. The average supermarket carries 50,000 different items, 50 different types of mustard, 20 different brands of toothpicks. This is a nightmare of logistics. It's a mess of middle management and fragile supply chains. Costco? They carry about 4,000. That's it. This is the power of the curate. Because they only carry one or two types of ketchup, they don't ask the supplier for a price. They dictate it. They have massive, terrifying leverage. They are the 800-pound gorilla that only eats one thing. This simplicity is their strength. It allows them to be a fortress while everyone else is a sprawling, undefended camp. They didn't hollow themselves out to please Wall Street. They built a bunker to protect the member. Now look at where we are in 2026. We are living in a K-shaped economy. The middle class is being liquidated. Inflation has become a permanent ghost in the room. Trust is at an all-time low. People are tired of being lied to by brands that promise artisan quality while serving them chemical sludge. In this environment, Costco has become a niche authority. It's a trust reservoir. When the world feels chaotic, the warehouse feels stable. There is a brutal honesty to concrete floors and steel rafters. It doesn't pretend to be a boutique. It doesn't pretend to be your friend. It just promises you a fair shake. And that brings us back to the hot dog. To figure it out, as Senegal demanded, Costco did something radical. They didn't raise the price. Instead, they built their own meat processing plants. They took control of the entire supply chain. They vertically integrated a snack bar item. Think about the madness of that. A multi-billion-dollar corporation obsessed over the logistics of a Frankfurter just so they wouldn't have to break a promise to you. That is the difference between a business that solves a math problem and a business that builds a relationship. Most companies see you as a data point to be harvested. They see your loyalty as a resource to be extracted until it's gone. They are miners. Costco is a farmer. They are planting the $1.50 hot dog today so they can harvest your membership fee for the next 30 years. With renewal rates consistently hovering above 90%, it's clear the crop is thriving. You aren't just buying a snack. You are participating in a ritual. The long line at the food court isn't an inconvenience, it's a congregation. You are surrounded by people from every walk of life. The contractor, the soccer mom, the tech millionaire, all standing together, waiting for their 150 communion. It is the great equalizer. It is the one place where the economy doesn't feel broken. But don't be fooled. This isn't charity. It's the ultimate cold-blooded business strategy. By refusing to move on the price, they have made it impossible for anyone else to compete on trust. How can a local grocery store convince you they have your back when they're charging $6 for a bag of chips? They can't. Costco has set the bar so high that the rest of the industry is suffocating in the thin air. Success is a mask. For most corporations, if you peel back the marketing and the PR, there's nothing underneath but a hungry algorithm. But for Costco, the $1.50 hot dog is the face beneath the mask. It is the truth. It tells you that there is a limit to their greed. It tells you that some things are more important than an extra nickel of earnings per share. As you walk out into the parking lot, pushing that oversized cart, you might feel a little silly for buying a 5-gallon bucket of mayonnaise. But you'll look at that hot dog wrapper in the trash, and you'll feel a sense of belonging. You're part of the club. You're inside the fortress. The world outside is changing. Prices are climbing, quality is dropping, and the efficiency narcotic is claiming more victims every day. But as long as that sign in the food court says $1.50, you know the soul of the giant is still intact. They didn't just sell you a hot dog. They bought your loyalty for the price of a cup of coffee. And the scariest part? You were happy to sell it. Look at your receipt one more time. You think you got a bargain. They know they got you. And in the end, that's the most brilliant trade in the history of the world. The hot dog isn't a meal. It's a miracle of psychological engineering. And as long as you keep eating it, the fortress only gets stronger. Welcome to the club. Don't forget your card. When Jim Senegal issued his ultimatum over a hot dog, he wasn't being a drama queen. He was protecting the brand's moral North Star. In a boardroom, efficiency is a narcotic. It feels good in the short term. It makes the quarterly earnings call a victory lap. But eventually, you've optimized the heart right out of the body. You're left with a ghost brand, a name people recognize, but a soul they no longer trust. Costco looked at that path and chose the fortress instead. Look at the people around you in that warehouse. They aren't just shoppers, they are devotees. They bypassed 10 other stores to get here. Why? Because in a world of broken promises and shifting goalposts, that $1.50 price tag is a fixed point in the universe. It's the one thing that doesn't change when the world goes mad. It is the psychological tether that keeps you coming back to the concrete floors and the industrial lighting. Most businesses are trying to solve a math problem. How do we get the most out of them? Costco solved a human problem. How do we make them feel safe? The hot dog is the answer. It's the proof that someone, somewhere, decided that a promise was worth more than a profit margin. It's a cynical masterpiece wrapped in a bun. You're not just a customer, you're a member of a tribe that still believes in the $1.50 miracle. And as long as you believe, the fortress stands.